Hello, this is Paul. Welcome to the CoCreative Intimacy Podcast. Our category for today is communication. And our topic is we're going to do an Enneagram Typing interview with Megan, who is our guest speaker. Hi, Megan.
Hi, happy to be here.
Would you like to tell us something about yourself?
Sure. So I'm born and raised in Pennsylvania. I'm 30 years old, engaged, and I work in the accounting world.
Got it. Tell me some of your hobbies.
I like hiking, trying new, local businesses, going out with my fiance and trying to support the community we're in. It's a nice community here in Harrisburg.
What's your educational background?
I have my master's degree, business management, and then my bachelor's in accounting.
Okay, cool. So let's see, when you were in high school, what kind of activities did you pursue?
I was in a lot of sports, basketball and soccer.
What kind of grades did you get?
I got good grades. I also felt like being in those sports, I excelled during those times in the season when I was busier.
So when you say you got good grades, was it A's and B's or all A's, or tell me more?
Right. I would say probably all A's up until high school and then A's and B's in high school.
What kind of career or work does your partner do?
He works for a company that does home remodeling. He oversees a team that reviews projects.
Okay. And when you guys go out, what are some things you do together? You mentioned a little bit, but specifically, what's some things you like to do together for fun?
Yeah, he'll go out on hikes with me, farmer's market. We like to check out local craft breweries or new spots to eat in town, meeting up with friends if we can.
Okay. Would you say you're a pretty easygoing person when it comes to interacting with a variety of people?
Absolutely.
Megan, this is the chart of the Enneagram. Have you had much exposure to the Enneagram?
I think I've taken a test online one time before, but besides that, not much.
Okay. And you don't have to say anything, but did you get a result on that test that you felt was conclusive?
I remember at the time I thought it was fitting, but I honestly don't remember at this point which one it was.
Okay. So look at this diagram. You notice how there's 9 numbers, and you notice how there's 3 sets of 3. There are the 8, 9, and 1 on top are blue. 2, 3, and 4 are red, and 5, 6, and 7 are green. So notice how each triad has a body part: gut, heart, and head. Part of being human is we have a heart and a head and a gut. And so, by the way, a gut is kind of like your intuition. So when you look at those 3, which one of those would you say is well developed with you?
Right away, kind of all of them stuck out for one reason or another, but I want to go with gut.
How many siblings do you have? Do you have any siblings?
I have siblings. They're half siblings, and I didn't really grow up with them. They were always out of state. So I feel like I identify more as an only child, if that makes sense.
Would you say that you can talk to somebody who is like a Democrat, who's very vocal for 5 minutes, and then talk to somebody who's a Republican and who's very vocal for 5 minutes, and really understand both of their points of view? And then you might even be able to sit down and have lunch with both of them.
I feel like I can speak to people on either side of the spectrum. I think that case in particular would depend upon the topic maybe. But yeah, I feel like I can get along with a lot of people pretty easily.
And then after you have lunch with them, could you possibly become best friends with both of them?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So it sounds like you have a lot of empathy. Would you say that people
Yeah,
come to you and talk to you and bend your ear?
absolutely.
So you're kind of like a part counselor, part friend, part therapist, and just in everything in life.
Yeah, I used to joke with, I can't remember who it was that I had like, tell me your life written across my forehead, because even with strangers, it seems sometimes something that they want to spill their beans right away.
So let's say you go into a big room with lots of people. Would you say that people notice you right off the bat when you walked in because of your magnetic charisma? Or would you say that you're kind of more of like a wallflower and people hardly notice you? Or are you somewhere in the middle?
I would say more in the middle.
Okay.
Definitely not as soon as I walk into the room, I would say.
Let's say you walk in with your boyfriend and you go into a party, and it's a party of people that he knows, and you don't really know anybody, and he's introducing you. This is my girlfriend Megan, and she has done this, and she's got an MBA, and he's really bragging about your accomplishments. Does that make you feel uncomfortable, or are you okay with it?
I think I would feel a little uncomfortable,
Okay, just a little bit, not too much.
especially being probably if it was the first time meeting these people, then more so.
Are you a little bit of a perfectionist in terms of your standards for how you do things, or not?
I feel definitely yes.
How much? Like, if I was to say on a scale of 1 to 10, how much are you a perfectionist in for yourself?
Um, I will think about something like well in advance and be stressing over it. Like, for example, I had to get professional headshots taken for my job, and just up to that appointment, I was planning every detail, overthinking it, because I knew I had this one shot to get the right picture. And so it was a couple weeks long sweating over it.
Okay. What about in your work, in terms of making sure everything's done correctly, or you feel like, I did a pretty good job, it's fine?
I think in my field, I definitely have to be detail oriented, but I think maybe once I have a task kind of under my belt, like something reoccurring maybe, then I'm more likely to lax off a little bit.
Okay. So what about when you talk to somebody, you go out to lunch with somebody, and then you're driving home in the car? Do you find yourself going over the conversation?
Absolutely.
So you might be thinking about how you enjoyed the conversation, but are you going to be critical of yourself and like, you know what, I should have said this and I should have said that? Are you like that?
Yes, absolutely. After hanging out with a group of people, I am definitely the type to analyze how I acted and maybe ways I regret acting.
Do you like a clean house?
Um, I will say I didn't grow up that way. More recently, as I got older, I do keep my house cleaner. Um, so I think that's something that I've maybe developed.
Okay, I'm going to talk about all 9 types very fast. Okay. And when I'm done, I want you to tell me which one you resonate with the most. So type 1 is called the reformer. They're also called the perfectionist. Whatever they do, they think, you know what, I should have done that a little bit better. So they're very self-critical, mostly, but they could also be critical of others. And like, you know what, that's not right. Or that's not right. And they have a highly developed sense of ethics. Very principled people. So number 2 is a very loving, nurturing person. Think of the Italian mother. Eat, have another meatball, have another plate of spaghetti. Would you like another towel? Would you like a glass of water? And you're thinking like, okay, leave me alone. And once you say to them in the morning, oh my God, thank you for that pillow last night, I slept like a baby, then they shut up. Because deep down, a 2 is loving and nurturing, but they have a need to be needed. So once they find that need, then they calm down and they feel good.
Okay.
By the way, the things I mentioned, some of this may be prevalent earlier in your life, some of it may be prevalent now. And so I want you to pay attention to that. Type 3 is the achiever. They like to get stuff done. They think in checklists. Boom, boom, boom. They get up early on a Saturday when they don't have to get up early, and they get stuff done. They're very easygoing. They don't burn bridges. They like to network. They're very good at networking because they think, you know what? I'm going to talk to this person in a couple of years. They might be able to help me because they like to climb the ladder. They like to be noticed for their accomplishments. Type 4 is the individualist, also called the artist. This person has a need to do art. They usually paint or draw, or maybe they write, or they could act or sing. Could be any kind of art, but they have to do something. Now, let's say they have a job in accounting. Well, then maybe they're going to go home and write poetry, or they're going to find a job in the arts. So, okay, number 5 is the observer, or also called the investigator. This person loves to read, loves to absorb knowledge. They're constantly picking up facts, and they like to kind of categorize all of these facts and really understand the world around them. They love to spend time alone in their thoughts. Type number 6 is the loyalist. Very nice, easygoing person. They come across as kind of a friendly energy. They're very loyal. But on the inside, they have this anxiety. They're always thinking about what could go wrong, or they're wondering about how they're not feeling secure. So I'm talking about things like they walk into a movie theater and they're looking for the exit signs just in case there's an emergency. They won't drive their car until all their passengers are wearing a seatbelt. So they're very focused on safety. They like to follow the rules because if you do these rules, you're going to be safe. Type number 7 is the adventurer. They like to have fun. They enjoy going to parties, and after the party, they're going to go to that party after the party. They easygoing, good-natured people, pretty much always an extrovert. Type 8 is the challenger. They don't like to be told what to do. They could be nice. Now, every type has a level of health. A type 8 that's not healthy is a very difficult person at all to work with, to do anything with. Those are the bosses that are like the ASSHOLEs in the world, the unhealthy 8s. But when they're nice, they're very gregarious. Sometimes, well, they could be gregarious. They're magnanimous, which means they have a big heart, and they like to protect people. They'll always have your back. They're very easygoing, and they're very much into making an impact in their environment. And then number 9 is the peacemaker. They kind of avoid conflict, and they have the strong sense of empathy. So if those types I just mentioned, anything resonate with you?
It's very hard. I feel like a little piece of everything you said feels kind of fitting at one point or another. 6, everything you said up until the rule follower thing kind of spoke to me. I don't really see myself as much on the safety or the rule following. And 9 and 1 maybe? I think maybe 9 the most.
So Megan, I kind of knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say, or I suspected that you were going to say that it's hard for you to decide because you have so much in there. Because that usually indicates that you might be a type 9. So the 9 is the peacemaker. They have a natural gift of empathy. Mm-hmm. So whenever I do a workshop on the Enneagram, most people figure out their type within 20, 30, 60 minutes. But the 9s are unsure, and they usually have to go back home and read some more and decide. They might figure it out within a few days, or it might take a few months. But then when they finally figure it out, they say, you know what? I think I'm a 9. So it's kind of the hallmark of being a 9, that 9s are unsure of being a 9.
Sounds right.
So because they have everything in them. Nines are amazing people. There are very few people in the world that can get along with pretty much everyone. So let's say you go into a party with, let's say, 100 people, and there's enough time, and you work the crowd, and you talk to most of them, and you come out of that party. And I say, Megan, how many people did you like? How many people would you avoid in the future?
I would probably not avoid any of them. I can think of circumstance where I've been to a wedding and I have walked away feeling like I enjoyed the company of everyone there. I think maybe I was overthinking the way, but I do feel that I would like the conversations and the time I spent with them.
So I'm suspecting you might be a 9. So I don't know. So by the way, I can never tell you your type.
Okay.
And even a test cannot determine your type. Because the more developed you are as a person, the more you're going to exhibit qualities of many of the types. Mm-hmm. So it's actually kind of a compliment if the test doesn't get you right because you've developed.
Okay.
Now, the converse is not true. Let's say the test turns out to be accurate. It doesn't mean you're not a well-developed person. So let me tell you a little bit about 9s. So again, I don't know your type. I'm going to ask some questions and see if you resonate. So type 9 tends to go in spurts in life. When they're younger, they'll say, you know what, I want to take that class. I want to read that book, but they don't do anything. They kind of sit on their butt for months, maybe a couple of years. And all of a sudden, it's like the wheels start turning, and boom, 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 they accomplish, they get stuff done. They take this class, they read that book, and they're just amazing. They're just surprised, and they love this part of themselves. But then all of a sudden, they're going to go back to sleep, and they might go 6 months, maybe a year, and they do nothing. And then they go back. So are you like that? Do you work in spurts?
Yes, I feel like that sounds like me for sure.
Okay. Another thing about 9s is they have a lot of friends, and they're connected they like all of these friends, but they may kind of I guess nowadays the term is ghosting. Somebody might text you, and then you may not text them again for 6 months. And then all of a sudden you'll text them. And for you, it's like nothing has changed. And they're thinking, what happened? Does that ever happen? Do you ever have people telling you what happened? And because you just kind of go in and out of their lives.
I've never had anybody say that to me, but I do feel like even if it doesn't take a month or so, I read it and then it takes maybe a week or more to give the response. Yes.
Okay. So far, this is sounding very 9ish.
Yeah.
But I don't want to. So another thing about 9s is, so you notice that 9s are in the anger triad. There's a feeling associated with each of these triads. And anger's, for 9, it says anger. Mm-hmm. This is a bit puzzling because 9s are nice people. They're super nice. Right. If you were to ask a friend, tell me about Megan, they're not going to say that you're this angry, nasty person. They're going to say the opposite. So what this means, though, is that 9s have anger, but it's way down here. But they're always aware that it's there. Now, maybe when you're really young, you may not be aware. But at a certain point, you're going to be aware, but then it's down here, and you may be really angry about something, but you're not going to necessarily voice it. How does that resonate?
Yes, I definitely agree with that.
So let's take a closer look at this triad. All 3 in that triad have an issue with anger, 8s, 9s, and 1s. 8s tend to overemphasize anger. Think of Donald Trump, and that's not a political statement. That's just what I'm observing. Martin Luther King, healthy 8, but angry, passionately in a beautiful way. You know it. You could see it. Type 1s underemphasize their anger. They have it, and they're very stoic. They're very put together, composed. Even though you could tell they're percolating in anger, but they're not gonna let it show because they think that anger is a flaw to show too much. Some may think it's a flaw. But a type 9 disassociates with their anger. It's there, but they don't have a handle on it. So a type 9 oftentimes is very calm, super easygoing, but once in a while they have a blow up, they have a conflict. And people are like, wow, Megan, I'm so surprised. But usually it's a short-lived blow up, and afterwards they're very apologetic.
Okay, when you asked me earlier, the previous question, I was going to say, I think I keep it down until it overboils, so I think that's spot on. And even my fiance, he does say that he doesn't see me mad often, but when I do get mad, I'm all the way up there.
Is it short-lived or does it stay up there for a while?
No, very short-lived. I think I can move on to the next thing pretty quickly.
And let's say you snapped at somebody. Will you say something to them afterwards or not?
Like in the sense of apologizing, I guess, or just... I think I'd be more likely to just kind of try to push past it, but I would feel, some kind of guilt with the person.
Okay. Got it. 9s are on a triangle. There's a 3, 6, and 9 triangle. So what this means is you're going to have qualities of 3s and 6s and 9s. So 3 is the one that I said was very into getting things done, accomplishing. They're success-oriented people. So when you go in those spurts, you're kind of in that 3 space where boom, 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 everybody likes you. Mm-hmm. Most people like 3s and 9s, hands down, because they're so likable. They make an effort to be liked. They make an effort not to burn bridges.
Yeah. The networking piece that you said there, it was what kind of made me feel that one.
Okay. And then the 6 is the one with anxieties because of safety issues. So as a 9, you may not feel that all the time, except for when you get stressed out. Then you're feeling a little anxious, mm-hmm. and you're going to be very safe.
Yeah.
Can you give me an example of that, when you might feel stressed out and feel that feeling?
Like a feeling of anxiety, you mean?
Give me an example of what might cause that.
Definitely traveling home to see family, I feel like is a big source of anxiety for me. Picking out my clothes. That's kind of like, I think, a mental game with me sometimes. And I also think back to the leaving a group setting and having those thoughts of, did I say the right thing? Was I too much? All that also makes me think of the anxiety.
So it's funny you said that about the anxiety with picking clothes. That's very common with some 6s.
Yep.
6s tend to vacillate in decision making in general.
Mm-hmm.
Could be clothes.
Yes, if somebody else could make most of my decisions, I think I would, sail right along. Sometimes.
So let's say you and your fiance are going out to eat, and he says, "Hey, what kind of food shall we have today? What kind of cuisine?" What are you going to say?
I might give a thought, but ultimately you choose.
Right.
And I feel some females say that every time, but at the end of the day, I don't really feel one way or the other with the decision that was made, if that makes sense.
So let's say he says, I'm going to be the boyfriend, okay?
Okay.
Okay, Megan, let's go Italian. Do you feel like Italian today?
Yeah.
You really feel like Italian today?
Yeah, I think I could go for some Italian. I'd have to see the menu, I guess.
Okay, you know what? I just changed my mind. I want to go to Chinese. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah.
You know what? I think I want to go Mexican. Can you do the Mexican?
Yes, but why are you changing your mind so much?
We're just having fun here. So, the point I'm trying to drill home is that a 9 usually will go with whatever the other person wants.
Yes, absolutely.
In fact, if I said, Megan, what kind of cuisine do you really like? It might be a difficult task to figure out what do you really like.
Yeah, I see that. I've always grown up telling people that, like, why would you trust me to make that decision? I can't even, like, choose my own favorite color.
Beautiful. I love that. So, I want you to know, Megan, that 9s are amazing people because they get along with so many people. They make great therapists, counselors, listeners, friends. They literally can go into the Middle East and negotiate peace talks with countries that are at risk of dropping a bomb.
Wow.
They have that skill. It's an amazing skill. So do you see yourself with 2 people, 2 friends, or any 2 people that maybe you don't know, and they're kind of at odds with each other? Do you see yourself, if you were part of that conversation, do you see yourself in a certain role?
Yes, I think I would try to, I guess, make the peace. And I always, I guess, try to play like the level-headed one, reason.
Would you try to get them to calm down by understanding each other?
Yes.
Okay. So let's say you're with your fiance and you go into a party and he gets into an argument with somebody. Hypothetical, of course.
Okay.
And now for him, it's not an argument. It's a nice, active discussion. But it's about a controversial topic.
Mm-hmm.
Very difficult topic. And he's having a great time and it's a debate. But would you get a little bit, let's say it's a topic that's close to your heart as well. Would you feel a little bit uneasy? Would you feel like, you know what, I kind of wish this was over? And you know what, maybe I'll go to the next room? Or how would you handle that? How would you feel?
I would absolutely be cringing in my skin, wanting it to end for sure.
Okay, got it. Good. All right, I think I got this down.
Because that circumstance has actually happened once, and I remember exactly how I felt. So,
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm feeling more and more secure that you're probably a 9, even though, again, this is my observation. So notice that a 9 is next to the 1 on the diagram. What that means is that if you're, whatever type you're next to, adjacent to, could be your wing, and it's easy to pick up. It's a secondary energy. So it means that you could have a lot of qualities of that type. So as people, our goal is to grow and understand all of the types, but the types that we're going to resonate with the easiest are the ones with the 2 lines. So for you, that would be 6 and 3, and it's generally when you're stressed and when you're really doing well. And also your adjacent types, which is the 8 and the 1. So the 8 is the one that can blow up a bit. And the 1 is the one that's very fastidious. That's very much interested in, did I dot my I's and cross my T's? Did I do that perfectly right? Oh my gosh, you know what? Next time I need to do that better. They're very focused on improving themselves. And they can be very hard on themselves. So I'm noticing you've got definitely some 1 and some 3 and some 6 and some 9 as a minimum. So now a moment ago, I was saying that you go towards the 3 in your growth path and towards the 6 in your stress path. But I want you to know that between now and next week, most people are going to have some sort of stress. And so don't think you should avoid being a 6. It's actually good to be a 6. It's good to be any type. But when you go to any type, you want to be healthy in that type's expression. If you're a healthy 9 and you stress out, well, then you'll go to a healthy 6. So if you're going to that 6 energy and you're looking and you're feeling security issues, it's nothing bad. Enjoy that. That's part of you. But what the Enneagram does is it's a map. It's a flag. So when you notice yourself being more interested in safety, it's like a flag. Ding, ding, ding. Hey, guess what? Megan, you're stressed. So you can be in a healthy place and be stressed. But it's good for you to know. So the Enneagram helps you to have awareness that you are stressed. And that's your sign, is that you have 6 qualities. Similarly, when you're getting stuff done, boom, 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 you know that you're doing a really good thing for yourself. The vice of type 9 is they are lethargic, but it's not physical. It's more of an energetic lethargy. So this is where we were saying, remember, the 9 works in spurts. So let's say there's a difficult decision you and your fiance need to make. It could be about your life together. It could be something very difficult decision. And it needs to be made by 7 days from now. And either one of you can bring this up for conversation. Okay? How do you think you're going to handle this? Are you going to bring it up on day 1?
I think I would bring it up every day until the last day to wait to make my actual decision.
Amazing. Amazing. Now, what about if this happened 5 years ago with your emotional maturity of 5 years ago?
I would definitely probably wait till the last moment to make the decision.
So an average 9 will definitely wait. A healthy 9 will address it.
Okay.
So the average 9 will wait till the last day, and they may not even bring it up. They're going to wait for their partner to bring it up. And then they'll say, oh, yeah, sure, we can talk about that. Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. I think for me, maybe so much in the sense of not thinking ahead. Like a lot of people might plan for the future, but I feel like I'm just living in the moment in a way.
Okay, are you having fun?
Yeah. I think it's interesting to hear, what the catalysts could be and kind of how a 9 can evolve, I guess.
Most types know themselves like, okay, I'm a type 2, I'm a nurturer. Yes, that's me. And type 3s know that they love to achieve. But 9s have this unique quality. They understand 2s and 3s and 9s and all of these other people, but their question is, who am I?
Mm-hmm.
Does that ever happen to you?
For sure. Yes.
Okay. Now I'm feeling doubly sure that you have so much 9 energy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's a very common thing with 9s. So I want you to know, Megan, as we wrap this up, that first of all, you're on helping you to identify that you're a 9 is the beginning of the discovery process. Now you can start reading up on this and learn an incredible wealth of information. But one thing I want you to keep in mind is that 9s are amazing. 9s are amazing people. And they sometimes wonder, how could I be so amazing? So in the world of the Enneagram, sometimes they use colors as a metaphor for every type. For example, the color for 1 is silver because it's precision. The type for 2 is red because they're outgoing and nurturing and they don't like to be noticed. They're a little bit flirtatious. They could be. What color do you think is associated with 9?
I was going to say blue, just almost because it's that color there. And I think blue just feels kind of tranquil, like keeping the peace, I guess.
Nice try. Good. So, and that could be actually a very good metaphor for a 9. Mm-hmm. But the one I was thinking of is gold. Mm. Does that surprise you, or what do you think? Why would I pick that color?
Maybe because it kind of combines them all, maybe, like gold.
So I said gold because the substance of gold itself is a precious metal. If you find a piece of gold, you're going to keep it. Gold is amazing. Gold is a precious metal. There's not much gold in the world, but when you have it, you keep it. Everybody likes something that's gold. And that's you. But most 9s, when they hear that the metaphor color for them is gold, they're surprised because they don't see themselves as this amazing human being. So part of your spiritual evolution is to recognize that you are amazing and to keep in mind that the color that represents you is gold.
That's interesting because as you were leading up to that, I was kind of thinking to myself, like, it feels like I can be so empathetic towards all of them, but then I have a hard time towards myself.
Yes, yes. Any other concluding thoughts?
No, I think very interesting. I'm definitely going to have to research my nines now, and think everything you've said and seeing how they kind of connect together to the ones beside them and in the triangle, I feel like it does really identify as how I am.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Megan.
Yeah, thank you.